Okay, so I went ahead and just added some color to these fonts, as I mentioned earlier. The next part, we're going to go over here to our lights, and we're going to add a point light. We'll call this display light. And we got two ways we can brighten up these insides here. We can take a light, put it inside there, which is exactly what we're going to do. And in fact, we can put one here, Control C to clone it, and we'll put the next one right there next to it. Excuse me. By default, these are 50% each. Okay, I'm going to raise them up to about 150%. So display 1, and then the next display, 150. Okay, but the other thing is that that surface itself is solid right now. We need to make it transparent. So that's your main display. And you can see from the basic tab that the transparency is 0. Now, one thing I really like about using a stencil in here is that we only have a surface of blue that's going to be transparent. The other surfaces are going to remain solid. If we had one entire surface that we image mapped, well, what would happen is that we end up making the whole thing transparent. In this case, we're only going to make that one surface transparent, but only a little bit, only like 20%. Okay, and I also have double-sided on for all of the surfaces. Otherwise, what's going to happen is you're going to see all the way through to the back of your scene. Okay. So I'm going to save the scene, press S, and press F9 to do a render. And what happens is you get this really kind of cool, kind of see-through look. Okay. You can see my reels in there and everything else, and we should probably have a box around that. But if you go back to the surface editor for the main display, you go to environment, we're going to put some reflection on as well. So we got ray tracing and I think backdrop would be good. And then for the reflection, we're going to bring our diffuse to about 90% and maybe about 10% reflection. That is also going to help this because, you know, it's a shiny kind of plastic. So it's got to reflect things a little bit. And that just now adds even more to the actual element. Okay. From there, you could put some glow on the surface. So the main display, back to advanced, glow, set it to 100%. And then under image editing, under Windows, image processing that is, turn your glow on. It's a two-step process in Lightwave, unfortunately. Put it on the surface and then actually turn it on. And so now you can see that's kind of glowing in there. Okay, has the look that it's lit up. And you don't even, it's probably even a little bit too transparent. Okay, so we can go back to the transparency here and maybe bring this down about 15%. Okay, so it's really pretty easy to give it that kind of, you know, glowy lit look. Now it's a matter of applying the same to the numbers. You can even go a little bit further and put lens flares on the lights if you want to see like a light bulb in there. Okay, but the biggest thing might be also to get inside and let's save the scene real quick. Jump into Modeler, and if you look at this as a wireframe, you can see we're seeing all the way in there. So you might want to come in to a side view like this, and because we have double-sided on, you don't need to create this entire interior. But what you might want to do is take a box, and in a top view, just draw out just a little box like this. And then move it up just over the reel behind that front panel like that. And that will help cover up those reels as they're spinning. And this surface, you could press Q. This could be your metal, just your regular handle metal or the machine metal, either one, SlotMachine metal. Cut it, go to layer 1, and paste it. Press S to save, and then close all objects. Get back out here and do another F9 render, and you'll see the wheels are removed because we're covering them up. Looks much nicer. Okay, so quick way to do that. You can take that same variable that you put on there, right-click and copy for your main display. And then where we have things like the numbers, you can paste them down, but then maybe take the transparency down. So they carry on some of the same parameters as far as reflections and glow and everything else, and then just change your colors back. You can save that by opening Preset. Just press S while you're in the Surface Editor, and then S to save the scene. And now those yellow numbers take on some of the same properties, but look slightly different. And then you can do the same for red and the green and so on. It just has that kind of nice look. You don't have to make it transparent. You could actually just put a glow on there, but I wanted just to put a light back there and show you how that can look. Okay, so now for the actual glass up here, display glass, we're really not doing much with that. We're just going to make that 85%, but I want to give it some reflection. 15 might be too much. And remember that rule that if you have some reflection on, bring your diffuse down so your surface is not too bright. It's going to ray trace and backdrop. I don't want to reflect an image at all, simply because it's not that type of surface. Glass would just reflect its environment. And you might not even see much until we turn our camera a little bit, and we can see inside there. From there, let's go to our display graphics. I think that's that one. And then that's the middle display. There you go. That's this display down here. Now this one we can throw an image map on. We can take a picture. We can do something kind of cool and fun down there. So what's neat about doing that is you can put a light in it, or you can just make it glowy. And if you had a nice logo image, you could put that there, whatever you like. So I'm just going to hit load image. And for right now, we can actually take our wheel graphic or even a sunset, either one. And that might actually look pretty cool. And we'll just apply it on the Z. Planar, Z, automatic sizing, use texture. Okay, and that's for the middle display. Just creates kind of a nice image there. And then we could take that surface, and because the glow is on globally, the image editor, we can actually put it on here, and it will look like one of those cheesy Vegas paintings that are lit from the behind that hang on the wall. And of course, you could stencil in some letters on top of there. Okay. You can also make it not as bright, which I think I might do. I might bring this down a little bit to about 75%, and give it about a 10% reflection as well. Okay, we're going to go File, Save All Objects. Okay, next, let's get our little designs back here a little bit nicer. The metal's looking pretty good. The secondary display, that's that middle guy right there. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take our main display that we created, the first one, the top one, right-click and copy it, and then for the secondary display, right-click and paste. Okay. But we're not going to make it transparent. But we are going to give it a bit of a glow, but not 100%. We're going to make this maybe about 50%. Okay. Save the scene, and let's do an F9 render. There, we got nice strong blue in there that we can place more graphics on if we wanted to, stencil in, and so on. Okay. And what's cool about doing it like this is that if we take the camera and we move it in, tilt it, kind of move it down like that, you'll be able to see the reflections very nicely. So a very simple object, but with shadows, reflections, proper lighting, it actually starts to work really well. And of course, you know, we're doing this as a tutorial, so there's obviously, like this, with this and so many other things, areas you can go much deeper into and just tweak and change and update Okay, but for now we're going to do slot machine metal, go to coin slot, and paste that down. Rather than using the chandelier, we're going to use that. If we take our camera here and change our angles a bit, our light is actually pretty hot right there. So I'm changing my camera angle so you can see this inner reflection in here from the blue. Okay, and again, no anti-aliasing yet, but everything's looking pretty nice. Let's just work down here, and then let's get the rest of this animated. Okay, so I'm going to pull the camera back out. Got a little stool there. For the bottom area, the lower display, I'm going to right-click and paste. Oops. I want to paste down my main display. So we'll take that one, right-click and copy, and then for the lower display, right-click and paste. Give it that same blue. And you don't have to give it exactly the same color, but we do want a little bit of consistency. So I'm going to make it a little bit darker blue. Okay. Now, those other surfaces in there, the 777, for instance, we can keep that solid. I do like it red, but I'm going to right-click and paste down that same main display, which is just blue. Brings all the parameters, reflections and transparency, everything over, just by pasting it down. And then simply just make it red. Gives it that same look. Okay. We'll save all objects, so all the surface colors save. Go back to the lights, and for this display light, I'm going to Control-C to clone it once. Move it down just by dragging the green handle. And drop it over. Going to put it right behind the 7s. And remember that it's actually in the box right there. S to save. And let's get to our light view. And I want to change my main light right here. Just going to rotate it just up just a little bit and over, kind of like this. And the reason I did that is because I was getting a little too much direct hit when I brought the camera in. And just wanted to change that a bit. We'll have a little less hotspot as we come down here and see this. And just like our roulette wheel on our craps table, you can go really wide or really tight with the camera using zoom. It's totally up to you. And there's our glow around those. So it's a matter of just kind of updating these as you like. You can actually see the light coming through right there. You can put a glow on the light if you want to, a lens flare that is, and really shake things up a bit. Give it that light bulb type of look, and just open the properties. And for the light itself, you go to lens flare, hit lens flare options, and adjust accordingly. I don't know if that would look too good on there, but it's something you can try. Finally, let's come over here and go back to surface. We're going to open up the main display and the slot machine metal. We're going to copy it, and we're going to take the handle ball and paste it down, and the handle metal and paste it down. And the handle trim, just like that. We're going to save all objects. Press F9. And looks like we got one more handle in there somewhere. Yep. Right there. There we go. Okay. So let's move on to the next video, and I'll show you how to animate this.